Right. If you told Sarah Gadon that in less than a year she'd go from being a university student to an actor with a key role in a major studio picture, she'd probably say you were out of your mind, which is actually sort of appropriate, since the role she landed was in A Dangerous Method, David Cronenberg's new film about those two granddaddies of psychiatry, Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung.
I've simply opened a door. It's for the young men like yourself to walk through it.
Now, that's not to say her path to the red carpet was quick or easy. Sarah first appeared on stage at age 7 as a lamb in a Toronto production of The Nutcracker. You know, for more than 10 years, she worked consistently on television on everything from La Femme Nikita.
Why did you lie?
Eureka.
To being Erica.
I'm having a brainstorm. You have the keys. We have the part here.
That would be so dope.
But Sarah wanted to do more than act, so she enrolled at the University of Toronto to learn all there is to know about cinema, storytelling, and the great directors like David Cronenberg. So when Sarah sent her audition tape to Cronenberg, she thought it was a long shot. But he liked what he saw and cast her in A Dangerous Method as Emma, the rational and loyal wife to Carl Jung.
Surely you didn't think I'd let you go without putting up a fight.
In fact, Cronenberg was so impressed he also put her in his next film, an adaptation of Don DeLillo's Cosmopolis. Sarah acted opposite Mr. Team Edward himself, Bobby Pattinson. She somehow survived all the Twilight mayhem and is now back in Toronto for her next big project, which is moving out of her parents' place.
Please welcome Sarah Gadon. Oh, nice to see you. Welcome. So, I mean, you know, that bio started off with, if you would have asked yourself a year ago, what do you make of the last year or two in your life?
It's been pretty intense and incredible at the same time. I've been so many places. I've been traveling nonstop, and then to be back in Toronto with A Dangerous Method, and it feels like, even though we've shown the film in so many different places, it feels like we're home. Yeah. And this is it, and this is, you know, where it counts.
It's a crazy moment when you walk down, let's say it's Roy Thompson Hall, right, for a screening, and it's a street you've walked a million times, right? And it's a building you've seen a million times, and then your movie's in it. And it's not just that your movie's in it, but your movie's in it made by another Toronto icon in Cronenberg. What, do you remember that moment? Was that something that you took note of?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the whole process, I've been trying to take it all in from the time that I first found out that I booked the project, and then being in Germany working on the film, and then, of course, being at TIFF. It was a huge moment for me, and it's one that I'll always remember.
How did you find out you booked it?
I was working on a film called Dream House, and it was funny because it was in March, and I had been auditioning for a few projects because the summer was coming up, and I was working with an actor, Greg Smith, from Rookie Blue, and he
and Hobo with the Shotgun.
Yeah, TIFF Top 10. Yeah. And he asked me, he said, so what have you been auditioning for? And I said this and that, and I auditioned for the new Cronenberg film, but you know, it's gonna be such a long shot. So then we took lunch, and we were in a double banger, a trailer that split into two, and the walls are really thin. And I got the call from my agent, and she said, you know, you booked the Cronenberg film. And I started freaking out in the trailer, and Greg through the walls was like, hey, did you book the Cronenberg gig? And I was like, yeah, I did. I think the whole trailer was, you know, freaking out, and so yeah, that's how I found out.
Who's got crazier fans, Viggo? Well, let's call them passionate fans, Viggo or Robert Pattinson?
You know, I thought it would be Rob, but then when we were in Venice, Viggo has some diehard fans, and they love him and they freak out for him. But I think, you know, Rob doesn't even have fans. He has like the CIA. They know where he is. They know everything. They know every detail. They're on it. So
I mean, we got even a photograph that, you know, every time there was a picture of you and him together. There's actually a great shot right there of the two of you in a scene. But yeah. When you get caught up in that, does your life change at all in any way?
Well, I think when we were shooting, I made a really strong effort to not pay attention to any press or anything, because you're so involved in these characters and in your work, and you don't want anything on the outside to inform this relationship, that working relationship that you're creating. And so I really tried to block that out. But then afterwards, when the shooting finished and people kept saying things to me, I kind of thought, wow, yeah, you know, maybe that was a bit of a whirlwind that we were caught up in.
And it's also Cronenberg, right?
Yeah.
You know, is he different with Viggo than he would be with Rob and you? Is it a different reality?
I don't know. I think David is the kind of director who does for his actors whatever they need for him to be. So I think for someone like Rob, it was beautiful to see David really step in as kind of a very strong figure for him to, you know, help get through the film with. And then I think for someone like Viggo, I mean, they've worked together so many times that it's like clockwork with the two of them. They know exactly what each person needs and what they're going to do.
Do you have to make a conscious effort to not lose yourself in this business at your age?
Yeah, I think you do. I think being based out of Toronto really helps me out a lot because you're traveling so much and you're working with so many different people and you're meeting new people all the time. And then you come home and then you just, you know, go to school and you have your real friends who you've known since you were a kid, and your parents, and you know, your brother who's bossing you around. And so you get back into reality, and I think that's something I've learned from a lot of really great working actors, is that the industry, it's a force, but then you come home and you recharge and you become the artist and you get inspired again.
Yeah, but the idea of coming back and going back to school, you don't have to go back to school.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it depends how you look at it. I think I do, because I love film, and it's my passion, it's who I am. And so, for example, this week I was in class and I started watching a film, and you keep getting introduced to new filmmakers, and every time I watch a film for the first time that I didn't know about or hadn't seen, I thought, you know, oh my God, I could have not known about this work or this filmmaker, and I would have been out there and I would have been acting and working in the industry, and I never would have had this to draw on.
Like which movie?
I mean, everything. I learned about Agnes Varda at film school, and she's one of my favorite filmmakers. But it's an endless list, and it's something that feeds your work, and it reminds you the kind of projects that you want to be a part of and how you want to contribute to the art form. And I think that that's something that I really think about.
What do your folks make of this whole deal?
I mean, they're happy. I think they're here. My whole family's here. Yeah.
But is it that kind of? Do you ever sense in their face that kind of nervous happiness, because they're glad you're doing well, but they recognize that, I mean, you're young and here you go. Mm-hmm. Now you're kind of you have to make your own decisions and your own choices, your own mistakes, all that. Do you see that in them?
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm really lucky in the sense that my parents have always been very supportive of me and my work, but I think that they're also concerned about the kind of career that I'm going to have, and they're also concerned about, you know, me getting my degree and my education, because one of the things my mom said to me was that, you know, in this industry, people, they take from you, but a degree and an education is something that nobody can ever take away from you, and it's something that you'll always have. So I think they definitely try and, you know, give me a lot of that kind of advice too.
How are you with receiving that advice?
You know, I'm good, yeah. I'm really close with my parents, so we have a great relationship.
Are you texting all your friends, making sure they go see Dangerous Method when it opens tomorrow?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I am. I signed up for Twitter last week, and so I'm, you know, tweeting.
And there's a Sarah underscore. That's not you.
No,
right?
No.
So there's a fake one out there, but there's the real
me. Yeah, no, it was my New Year's resolution, actually. Is
to get on Twitter?
To claim my virtual self, because I had all these people kind of impersonating me, and I thought, no, that's not me, and I have things to say, and I will say them.
But now there's the pressure. What things do you have to say?
I have to say that I'm here.
Tell me about the Moth Diaries experience.
The Moth Diaries is great.
We had Mary on the show.
Yeah. Well, Mary is a legend, and really interesting because she's one of the only female directors to have such a large body of work as an independent filmmaker. And so when she was casting for Moth Diaries, I knew a lot about her, and I said, I want to work with her. I want that experience of working with a Canadian female director. And so...
Why?
Why? Because I think it's important to be a part of many different people's visions and perspective, and I think as much as culture informs somebody's work, I think gender can inform somebody's work. So that's why I wanted to work with her, and I was thrilled when I got the opportunity to.
I think to be a good actor, you have to be a good human being in a sense. You have to understand the whole world, don't you? Like to understand what else is going on, to have different places to draw from.
Are you saying that I'm a good person, or?
Well, you're a good actor. You can take what you want from that.
All right, okay.
I don't know you well enough to say if you're a good person or not. But it's key to have people that you can go to for advice, and you've worked with lovely people for sure. Mm-hmm. Do you have your own mini masterclass sessions with people? You ask them about how to navigate this stage of your career?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you know, working with David has informed who I am as an artist. I think sometimes as an actor, you think about getting jobs, and it just becomes about working and getting an actual role. And then when you work with someone like David and you have that kind of experience, you realize that, no, maybe the kind of work I want to do and the kind of projects I want to be a part of are this kind of projects.
Well, you got to check out the film. It's called The Dangerous Method. It's in theaters tomorrow night. Sarah Gadon, everybody.